Hello everyone. I just wanted to share a really quick story before I forget it. But I just really started to recognize how much of a message it really was for me and how much I felt I could really share it with others that may want to hear it. So I love puzzles. I've always loved puzzles, and recently I've been just really having these desires to rekindle those passions I had for puzzles and stuff. So I bought a puzzle, and um, I started working on it the past couple of days. I worked on it mostly yesterday, like last night, and did a significant amount of it actually. Not like a lot, like to the point where it was almost done, but like I did a good portion. So, I, long story short, come to today, my son opens the room, and they both run in, and they're all in the room, and without my, of hearing, because the door was pretty much silent. I had just oiled the doors, so I had no awareness that they were even in there, and so I digress. All to say that they completely ruined the puzzle, completely like trashed the room, really. But like, what I was really like hurt about was the puzzle, because I just spent all that time on it, and so I really was upset about it. I really was like down about it, and like angry for a minute, and I took a moment to just kind of like release about it and let myself be like obviously upset about it, because like I really was upset. Like I didn't want to deny that very true feeling that I had about it. So that was there. But um as I was even like going to the room, because I've been walking in and out, and every time I see it I just kind of thinking about what had happened again, and it just kind of rekindles my thinking about it. And come to this most recent point where I looked at it and I was just like, I did think about how, like, when I was looking at it before it had gotten destroyed, how much I really enjoyed putting that puzzle together, and how I was kind of upset about how fast it was going, because I was recognizing I was kind of putting it together really fast, to where within a couple of days I probably would have had it finished. And so in one way I was able to see, maybe this is a way where I can, have fun with it again, and really let myself enjoy and put it together, again, because I can either let myself hold on to that anger, and really be upset, and not just that, but I can even attach it to like some old story to the past, to really make it feel super verifiable, right? To be like, oh, this is something that may always happen to me. Like, I never get to have my way. Like, I could, fall into that whole, like, never, and, all of those sorts of, like, language, like, the ways in which we can use language that has these super like limiting like energies on them. So I just started to recognize in which like I could really let myself just be more loose and more like going with the flow, and it's not so much even about like a faux like life is perfect kind of thing, which I feel like many of us kind of already know, or maybe that's just my assumption, but that's definitely where I'm feeling in a much more palpable way, is that enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, it's not about some idea that like now everything. If anything, there's so much more comfort in not knowing things. There's so much more comfort in letting yourself enjoy this experience, because I mean, I can only speak for myself personally in how much of my own like experience has been unearthed, especially in the past year, and how much I'm realizing like I've done all this work. I've done all of this, transcendence of the self for lifetimes. I've done this so much, and it's like I don't feel like that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to leave the body. I'm not here to like ascend, quote unquote, in that way. Like I've already done that, been here, done that, and so I definitely am starting to recognize how much I have not appreciated my body, because I have been so focused on not just the mental aspect, but like just gotten, I don't want to say lost, but let myself escape, you know, within, you know, the other realms. Let myself, you know, just not focus on this kind of experience, because, you know, just this whole idea that it didn't matter. Like this whole idea of, well, it's illusionary, or not even just that it's illusionary, but this whole idea that it will always come to pass. So like, what is the whole point? But it's like, do we really have to be that extreme about it? I mean, obviously, I feel like if you're watching these videos, I feel like we're obviously coming to this understanding at a like more, you know, mass collective field. Like things don't have to be such an extreme. We can find, not, it doesn't have to be about a middle, because it's not even about a middle. It's about more of a complex mix of everything. Like it's not, you don't have to limit yourself to anything. You don't have to say like, oh, I'm not doing this because of, you know, this, like, things just don't have to feel so rigid. Like, I don't want to provide any like set sort of example, because honestly, it is so different for all of us, and it really is just so much more, not even just different, but like we're all so different. We're all so creative, like much more creative than we think, because we even pigeonhole creativity. We pigeonhole what we have, this picture and concept of what it means to create, what it means to make something of anything, make something of something seemingly unsubstantial, you know. And it's just, that's, I mean, I feel like that's what I've always been trying to convey and always been talking about since like the inception of my channel. And really just even before then, I've just always been thinking in this sort of way where maybe to others it's very more of a romantic sort of standpoint, and I definitely believe that is so. Like that's true. But it's not just that. It's about just recognizing, even with the stuff that isn't seemingly romantic in life, because it's also about recognizing the things that we may over romanticize, you know. But that's a whole nother story that we could, or topic. But it's just of us really just recognizing the magic that is in everything. That's always been what I've been talking about. It's always been the heart of my, I want to say mission, but it's really just the heart of how I really view things. I guess maybe it's one of the filters which I do view a lot of things. And so, yeah, I guess I just want to share the really seemingly like annoying story, you know, about my children ruining, you know, a puzzle. And for me, I just really, not just that, but like I'm just really starting to recognize these little nudges in my own life that are really showing me that, like, you know, I'm taking things so serious, and it's not even like a you know, a fault, but it's just such a seriousness of thinking like we have to do things, like we have to, like life is just a list of like to-dos. It's just a bunch of check boxes that we have to get done. And that's like not it at all. Like, what is the fun of like finishing the game early, you know? I mean, I can see the fun in like maybe doing like the, I guess the homework or the study, whatever you want to frame it as, but like to end the experience early because I completed everything I wanted to complete in such a short amount of time, like that's not my dream either. Where like I'm really recognizing these are the sorts of things, like not just me, but like I can, you know, our culture has been driven by is like, you know, oh, graduating high school by 13, going to college, you know, when they're you know, 16, like, you know, all these like stories where it's and again, it's not even to blame it or even to say like there's negative intention behind any of these stories, but it's just like always for me, I'm just really always trying to see, not necessarily with my eyes again, but like just really trying to see from the inner seeing of like the intent behind why it is that we value certain things, why it is that we feel certain things mean this is excellence and this means that this isn't, you know? Because as long as we're creating this sort of like, disparity between, certain types of, intelligence, I feel like I not just me, but we need to have this discussion about, what it is that we value and why. Why it is that and it's not, again, it's not even to say that we don't need to value these things, but it's just to bring up the question, bringing up the discussion, if it has never been thought about before. Because I feel like oftentimes these are things that we don't even think about on at least like a mass scale of really discussing why it is that we value these things so much more important, especially so just like when we create comparisons between, like, just with, an example between, like, a certain academic excellence and someone maybe, I guess just frame it within, like, our whole cultural context, like someone that maybe, has a family and stuff, but they're like, they just live a seemingly like regular life, but they're living differently, but maybe their mentality is differently, maybe their whole philosophy on life is different, the way they even just treat other people may be different. It's just all of these different ways in which we just view people, and not even to say like comparison has to be bad, but like, I guess viewing, for me, comparison doesn't have to have an attachment of judgment. Like, we can use duality for what it is here, because it, again, it helps for contrast. It does help us to discern things. It's not for us to ignore the differences that are here, I feel, but I feel here we're not needing to attach certain judgments or certain preconceived notions to just certain experiences or circumstances or situations. Again, this is just very broad, because I feel like, again, we can experience this in so many different ways, and I can maybe offer very, like, particular situations for my sort of circumstances, like as a stay-at-home mom. But that's really, I guess, all I really want to share. So I find things can be very deep for me. I just see very deeply into things, feel very deeply into the story, and I feel like that's what makes this experience so beautiful. Being able to, enjoy the stories that we're in, but we don't have to be lost in them. Like, I feel like that's like the meaning of being able to ride the wave. Yeah, I didn't mean to close this off. This is very Gemini of me. So I'm really closing this off this time. Just gonna go and grab a snack. So, yeah, I will talk to you guys in a couple days, and find me on Instagram, and you can find my website for information for readings and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And until next time, guys, peace.